This is an explanation of what you are required to do at home or at school for your Overcoming Obstacles research essay in Miss Kearney's class. This is what your cover page looks like. And step one, you are supposed to either choose one of the people here listed for you that we know for a fact have overcome some kind of challenge in their life and are now better for it. And if you are wanting to choose somebody not on this list, all you have to do is be able to tell us who it is, what obstacle or challenge they have overcome, and why. So this is due by Friday. You have to get it approved by myself or Miss Kearney by this Friday, which is December 1st. After you've chosen a person, step two says, what do you already know? List three things you already know about this person. Before you start to research anything, any information you already know about the person that you are going to write about, you need to write on one of these three lines. If you only know one thing about the person, maybe you choose Becca Myers. Well, you know she's an Olympic athlete because it tells you right here that she's an Olympic athlete. So if that's the only thing you know, then you might say Becca Myers is an Olympic athlete. And if that's all you know, then you leave number two and number three blank. Step three, what do you want to know? You need to do three things here. What are three things that you want to learn about the person you chose to write about? Maybe it is, what obstacle did they overcome? Maybe it is, what are they famous for now? Or how did they overcome that obstacle? So, that right there, those are three examples that you can use, or you can come up with something different that you want to learn about this person. At the bottom, steps 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You are not writing anything at the bottom here, but it is referring to the rest of your packet. So you're going to look at your outline, you're going to complete your research, write a rough draft, edit that rough draft, which means any mistakes or things that you want to add in that you forgot, you will go back and do those things. And then at the end, the very last step is a final draft, and you are going to score yourself based on the rubric at the end of this packet. So here is what the next page looks like. Here is the suggested outline. You are going to write your essay title here. This might just be your person's name, overcoming obstacle, whatever that obstacle may be. This should be your first and last name. Now, you don't have to write anything else on this sheet necessarily, but this is showing you how you can organize your essay when you start to do your rough draft and your final draft. This is a Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3. So this is representing paragraph 1. You are going to do the introduction to the life of whoever you are researching. So you must include their childhood, and their parents and or family that they surrounded themselves with or lived with. That's only in paragraph 1. Then paragraph 2 is all about the obstacle or multiple obstacles if there was more than one. So the first part, what was the obstacle that they endured or faced? The second part is, what is the opinion of themselves? So how did they feel about themselves when before they overcame the obstacle, during overcoming the obstacle, maybe after overcoming the obstacle? What did they think about themselves? And then the last part is, what did other people think about them? What were the opinions that other people made about your person that you're researching? You guys have only 3 paragraphs that you're required to do, which is a part of your modification. So paragraph 3 is overcoming obstacles. You must have how this person overcame the obstacle. So, what did they do in their life to get past the challenge? You also have to make sure that you include what influenced them to overcome the challenge or the obstacle. So, such as outside influences, this may be other people, or I don't know, maybe they did their own research I guess own research is going to be internal. So, outside influences are going to be people outside of themselves that helped them overcome the obstacle. The second part where it says internal motivators, it's the person themselves wanting to overcome the obstacle. So, what is it that the actual person chose to do to face their challenge and overcome it? Now, this right here, the big box is blocking out things that you did not have to do because that's a part of the modification. Now, here is the outline with a little bit less written in between. This is where you can kind of write out your ideas that in maybe the order that you want to do them, which was going to go back to the things we just talked about. Here is just where you can maybe write some bullet points of how you want to organize it and what you want to say in each of the 3 paragraphs. Now, this is right here where it says name. You need to put not your name, or this is your name, not the person's name that you're researching. So if this was me, I would write Mrs. Spear. Who I am studying is the person I chose to research. So if it's Wilma Rudolph, I'm going to write Wilma Rudolph. Now, these are the questions that you want to research. So up until this point, you have not researched your person at all. Now is time to research. So in paragraph 1, notice you've got paragraph 1 here, paragraph 1, paragraph 1. So these first 3 boxes are questions that you should answer, and information that you research based on these questions will be included in paragraph 1 only. Question right here says, what was life like for them growing up? Were they rich? Were they poor? Were they discriminated against? If these are vocabulary words that you need to look up to understand the definition, or if you need to translate them to understand the definition, please do so. Once you have researched this information, you can write some notes right here. These do not have to be complete sentences, but it needs to show that you did do some research to find the answer. Also, you have to cite your evidence, which is going to be very important. If you are looking up websites to get this information, please copy the website so that you can go back to it later. If you want to make your own Google Doc where you just copy the website and paste it onto the Google Doc so you can go back to it later, that would be very helpful, because then I can help you, or a parent can help you figure out how to cite your evidence using the information on there. Typically, you're going to need the title of the website or the article and the author who wrote the information so that you can appropriately cite your evidence. This next question, what was their family like? Who did they live with? Did they live with their mom, their dad, their grandparents, siblings, aunts and uncles, friends? Was their family supportive? So did they support whatever they're famous for? Did they support them going forward and working through the obstacle to get where they are now? Or were they not supportive? Maybe they thought, you know what, you'll never be able to do this. Don't even try. Okay, you need to research something like that. The last thing you need to include in paragraph 1, it just says, is there anything else you want to include? Now, if there's nothing else that you want to include about their childhood or how their life was growing up, then maybe you don't put anything here, but you can. So if you find something you find very interesting about their childhood, please put that there. That's going to make it very interesting for me and Ms. Kearney to read. Now, paragraph 2, what was difficult? What difficulties did they face? How did they struggle? Remember, this one's all about the obstacle that you're supposed to talk about. So the difficulties, that's the obstacle, that's the challenge I keep saying. Also in paragraph 2, what did the person that you're researching think about themselves during that struggle? So while they are having this challenge in their life, what did they think about themselves? Okay. Did they think that they were awful? Did they think that they'll never succeed? Or did they think, I'm definitely going to push through this and I will definitely succeed no matter what? And then, of course, what did other people think of them? So it could be a family member, a friend, or someone they don't even know that thinks they're crazy, there's no way. Or maybe they're like, yes, I'm going to cheer you on. You can do this. Okay? Give some notes. And then once again, is there anything else you want to include in paragraph 2? Last part for you guys is paragraph 3, and it's just the one box. How did your person overcome the struggle he or she faced? What influenced their ability to overcome? Okay, this goes back to the outline where we talked about all the different motivators, the internal motivators, the outside influences, all of that is going to be things that you're looking up for this one box. The next page, you got your essay title again, your name again, and now this is all about paragraph 1. It's the introduction to life. And you are going to have to make sure that you have capital letters, that it is easy to understand. You've got punctuation that is correct. So every sentence ends with a period or a question mark or an exclamation point. You have correct spelling. If your words are misspelled, sometimes it is very hard to understand what it is that you're trying to say. So this is cups. Okay, that's what CUPS, just in case you were wondering. ARMS, ARMS, is another editing, revising type of strategy. So, are there any words or sentences that you should add that you forgot? When you reread something, you will probably find sometimes that you missed a word and it was just because your brain was faster than your hand was going. Are there words that you should remove or sentences you should remove because they're not relevant or they're unimportant? Should you move a sentence or word to a different location where it makes more sense? Do I need to substitute generic words for specific words, such as the academic words that we talk about a lot when we're trying to discuss things in a more professional and formal way? And then over here, relevant details, relevant meaning it's necessary and it applies to the topic. You have a topic sentence at the beginning of each paragraph, and it is neat and organized. It should definitely be organized if you're following the outline. Now, for you guys, I also gave you sentence starters. Anything that is in parentheses, underlined, and in yellow, you need to replace with your own words. So where it says person, this is the name of the person you are doing your research paper on. Lived in, describe their life. What about their life? Okay. Some examples some examples that should say of this from their life are, and then you give 3 different examples. The person's name again, grew up with, who are the people that they grew up around or lived with. Their family was very supportive or unsupportive. Here, you have to choose one of those words. Don't leave it with both words, choose one word. So were they supportive of their dream to be or to do whatever it is they plan to do? In paragraph 2, this is where you're talking about your obstacles. Once again, you are looking at all of these revising and editing suggestions after you've written it. Follow this outline. This sentence stems the paragraph frame, really. The person had obstacles to overcome to achieve their dreams. This is where you cite where you get your evidence. Is it the article or the website or the book? Give me the title of it. States, and then you cite your evidence here. Now you have to explain it because we're writing in ACES. This discusses, and then you need to explain your evidence that you just wrote here. How does it show they overcame the obstacle? How did they and others feel about the situation? Another source, this is where you have another website, another book, another article, another author's name, states, citing the evidence again. This shows, explain your evidence again. Despite the struggles, your person was able to reach success. And then your last paragraph that you're required to do for this essay is when you're overcoming, or the person is overcoming their obstacles. So he or she, depending on who your person is, it's a boy or a girl, achieved his or her, whatever the success, the goal, whatever the goal is that they're trying to achieve. I think I just forgot a word in there. So they achieved their goal by, how did they achieve their goal? What's the explanation here for how they achieved it? Once again, you're going to cite some evidence. So tell me where your evidence came from. States, and then cite your evidence. This shows, same thing, explain it. So it says explain the evidence. What exactly did the person do to not let anything get in the way of their dreams? And then another source, give me the title of the source, states, cite your evidence again, same way it was right here. This shows, explain it. What exactly did the person do to not let anything get in the way of their dreams? Overall, your person's name, had to overcome many obstacles to whatever their dream was, whatever it is that their goal was that they achieved. Okay? Now, this right here, this is where you're going to actually write it all. You're going to take everything you have in your notes and your outline, and now you're going to put it into paragraph form, which for you guys will end up being 3 paragraphs total. And remember that you indent at the beginning of each paragraph. So you're going to write your title here that you've already written multiple times, your first and last name here. So for me, it would be Jessica Spear. And then you just start writing your essay. Okay. And it'll be 3 paragraphs. This is handwritten. Okay. And there's multiple pages that are lined for you to write your 3 paragraphs. When you are done, this is the self-grading rubric that you have to use. So this is as if I am the one writing, okay? Did I use correct capitalization? Okay, well, either I didn't, so I'm a 0. I did a few times. I did most of the time, or I did the entire time. If you ever choose a 3, then you did it without mistake ever. It is 100% perfect. If it's a 0, you absolutely never did it, not once. If it's a 1, you did it a few times, but not very many. And then a 2 would be I did it most of the time. Okay. Grade level punctuation is correct. So your commas, your periods, question marks, exclamation points, that's punctuation. Grade level words are spelled correctly. So once again, did I spell everything correctly? If you are unsure of how to spell something, please look it up. You've got dictionaries online or you've got books that you can look up. Okay. Minimal to no grammatical errors were made. Grammar is going to go with does it make sense? Does it sound right? And do I have different, varying, but correct mechanics, like what we do with Quill? Okay, is my word placement and my comma in the correct place? Essay includes a variety of relevant details. We talked about relevant, meaning it actually does relate to the topic. It relates to your person and the obstacle that you are discussing. The last one is your essay neat and organized? I discussed this earlier. If you follow this packet and the outline given to you, it will be neat and organized. It says over here, after editing and grading my essay, I believe that one thing I excelled at is blank. Excelled, okay, that is something that you did really well. So, what is one thing you think you did really well with your essay? Down here, one thing I need to practice is, so what is something that you think I gave myself a 0 or a 1 because I didn't do very well? So, that's something you need to write right here. Now, at the bottom, it explains to you exactly what I was trying to say with the 3, 2, 1, 0. 0 means I never did it. There's no evidence that I ever did it. A 3 is what you really want to strive for because that means I did it all of the time. It is definitely correct. A 2 is I did most of the time. And a 1 is I didn't do it very well at all. I did it, but I just didn't do it very well. Or I didn't do it many times. Okay. And then what you'll do where it says out of 18. That's what this score says, where it has a blank, a slash, and then an 18. If you add up 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, the most points you can get is 18. Okay? But let's pretend I have a 3, I have a 2, I have a 1, I have a 0. You have to add up how many points you earned based on your self-scoring. Okay? And of course, Miss Kearney and I will also be grading these. So just because you think you're a 3 in everything does not necessarily mean that you are. I want you to really reread and be honest. And also, if you see you didn't do something, go back and fix it. Okay? If you have questions, please let me know.